with Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger of Illinois. He's a key member of the Foreign Affairs Committee. He's also Lieutenant Colonel in the U.S. Air National Guard. He served in both Iraq and Afghanistan. Congressman, what's your reaction to the U.S. now sanctioning Putin and Foreign Minister Lavrov directly?
It's good. It should have been done yesterday. It should have been done a while ago. Sanctions, look, I mean, the more we can do, the better. This inflicts pain on Russia. Sadly, it also inflicts pain on the Russian people. It will help to skyrocket the price of energy, which also benefits Vladimir Putin. But there is no doubt every sanction we can do, we should do. We should, including ban them from using SWIFT. That is a decision that has to be made with our European partners. That's what we can do to make it painful. Stopping the attack, quite honestly, Wolf, the Ukrainian people are fighting much harder than I think Putin expected, but they will be outmatched and outgunned ultimately by somebody that is very willing to lose his own troops, and he doesn't care, Vladimir Putin. I heard General Clark, and I agree that I think this is time where we need to, at the invitation of Ukraine, declare Ukraine a no-fly zone enforced by NATO and the United States. We certainly have the capability to do that. The airspace is still contested by the Ukrainians. We could certainly shut down Russian air operations even if we don't directly engage Russian troops on the ground.
Yeah, because President Biden keeps saying the U.S. and the NATO allies will not send troops, forces directly into Ukraine since Ukraine is not a member of NATO. The Ukrainian president, only moments ago, and you heard this, Congressman, warned Russian forces are advancing on Kyiv, the capital, and said, quote, the fate of Ukraine is being decided, he said, and I'm quoting him, right now. Can the Ukrainians, do you believe, hold their capital, or will it fall?
Well, let me add to even what the president said. I think the fate of the West is being designed and determined tonight. I don't believe Vladimir Putin will be able to hold Ukraine. We have seen in their fighting spirit that even if the troops basically take over Kyiv and all their strategic positions, the Ukrainian people are not Russian. The Ukrainian people do not identify as Russian, and they will fight Russian troops in the streets until Russian troops, similar to what they did in Afghanistan, will tuck their tail and go home. But listen, what is next? Is it the country of Georgia, a third of it of which is occupied right now by Russia? Is it the Baltics? Is there continued meddling in the Balkans? Are there other countries not in NATO that Vladimir Putin lays? He has threatened the use of nuclear weapons. That shows you how dangerous this man is, and he only stops when his bayonet hits a brick wall. The United States and NATO must be that brick wall tonight. I would love to see us declare at the invitation of Ukraine that Ukraine is a no-fly zone, and we will enforce that. And I got to tell you, Wolf, for anybody that thinks that somehow we're going to be equally matched with Russia, NATO and the United States would crush Russia in the air in a second. We have to remember how good we are at that. That can be the thing that can give the Ukrainians a fighting ability to prevent the occupation of Kyiv, but they won't go quietly into the night, sir.
But if U.S. and NATO warplanes shoot down Russian planes flying over Ukraine right now, that could trigger a growing an escalation of this conflict between NATO, including the United States, and Russia. And let's not forget, Congressman, Russia is a nuclear power.
Well, that would be a determination for Vladimir Putin. And I think the fact that you and I here have to truly, determine whether or not, Vladimir Putin would be willing to use nukes or to threaten nukes shows how dangerous this man is. And if we give him Ukraine and say, well, now he's satiated, we're going to be once again in this position whenever he determines it's the rest of Georgia or it's whatever other country he lays a determination on next. I think this is the moment when the Russians have been defeated in some cases in the battlefield. When you see these Ukrainian heroes that have risen up, blowing up bridges, or the 13 on the island that told the Russian warship to basically screw off. Like, this is the moment where if we step up, and I'm not saying we have to bomb stuff on the ground, but we declare this is a no-fly zone, not because we want to fight Russia, but because the legitimate government of Ukraine has determined that they want our help to defend the skies. then it's on Vladimir Putin. He knows, trust me, Wolf, he knows he cannot win a direct engagement with the United States. At some point, we have to be willing to stand tough and to have him back down. He's not going to do it until he knows we're serious.
All right, Congressman Adam Kinzinger, ominous situation unfolding, as we all know. Thank you very, very much. Coming up, we're going to get a lot.